Hello, this is Vivian Martinez and I will be presenting assignment 4. In assignment 4 we are using controllers, RESTful APIs, as well as JavaScript, Angular, and HTML. So here's my web page. You see I formatted it like Netflix. I do have a Netflix logo, and I have the trending right now. I have a few movies that are actually trending that I got, and I have my list. So in my list here we have a few movies. I try to be diverse in the genres, and then we have add to my list. So we have, as of now, we have 5 genres, which is action, comedy, drama, horror, and romance. And you see the number alongside is the genre ID. You'll see why I did that. So here on default we have pretty much any movie that's considered a comedy. So if you click drama, it's gonna say, see, how do you know is right here. How do you know is gonna show horror. We have 2 movies that are in horror, which is The Hater and Unsolved Mysteries, and then we have some in action and romance. So for now, let's say I click The Hater. Details of The Hater is going to come out, with such as the name and the director, which is John Comasa. So you can do that with others, and it all works out. Okay, so now you can add a film. You're gonna have the genre code, film name, and then you'll put in the director. Let's say I want to add another genre. So now we have the genre code. This time I'm gonna go for genre code 6, and because there's already 5, and then I'm gonna add thrillers because there's no thrillers on my list. And then here you see that a thriller has been added. Okay, so now we're going to go into the actual code. So I think the best place to start is in my controller, the API that I created. Sorry, it's acting a little slow for some reason. Okay, so here in my control. Actually, let me start in the CS file. Okay. So here we have our public status class, which we call dbmock. This would make sense. Bear with me for a second. Okay, and let me just stop running it, because maybe that's what's making it take so long. Okay, good. Okay, so we have our static class, which is dbmock, which I pretty much mirrored off of the provided work files that was done in the module. So we're gonna have a static list genre as the genres. So like I said, we have 5 genres. I gave them a genre ID and a genre name. So the ID is an integer and the name is a string, and here goes to the partial class that is named genre. So this is really important, and now we're gonna go to our controller, because our controller refers back to this, because our controller is our API. Okay, so here in our controller, so this route prefix is really important, because like when I'm loading the web page, it goes to API / pretty much index.html, but when we're going for the prefix, like this is going to be shown more in the JavaScript file. You'll see why this is important. So we start with the prefix with genre, also similar to the genre class that is in the dbmock. The genre controller refers back to the API controller. So here we're gonna have our gets and our post. So our HTTP get, previously I did make a earlier video, and I finally realized what I was doing wrong is I wasn't binding and doing the correct HTTP request. So here I have the HTTP get and our route get, and then our test, the HTTP action result. We're getting a result, and we're getting an action. This action is get as of now, and then this is for OK and db mock genres. So now get by ID, like I said, this is with the prefix. So our get by ID and an ID is whatever ID we have passed in. So pass in an integer, return OK, db mock genres first or default G's from the genre class, and then we have our genre ID equals ID. And then pretty much like if the ID that you pass in, they're gonna get the genre ID that matches that, and then that's how we're gonna get it by the actual ID. So that's just a quick explanation. And then add or update, this is important because we're updating if we're gonna add or if we're gonna remove. So from body we have the db mock genre, and then you pass in which genre you're adding or removing. If the genre is not equal to null, we're gonna add it, and then return OK. Now let's go to our HTML file, and we're gonna have to just kind of hop back and forth with the app. Okay, so first we started with our scripts. This is for the Angular JavaScript. We pass in these sources, and then our script, which is in the app.javascript file, which is shown right there. So in our body, I wanted, like I said, to mirror Netflix, so I wanted a black background color. Here, the button menu item, these are mirrored by the assignment, like I did the similar format, but I changed it up when it came to color. I wanted it red and little stuff like that. Now I did this dot center because I wanted to make my Netflix logo to be in the center of the web page. So you do that by margin left auto, margin right auto. This is for that line that's right underneath the logo, and then this is for our header. We're gonna I wanted the font size to be 20 pixels and the color to be white. I wanted my font to all be white. Now here is the images source. This is for our logo, and then our font face I wanted to be Arial. And then right here, the header class line 1, this is the line that I was speaking of that I made white. Our style is white, and then we're going to say trending right now. This is the first photos that I added, that I showed you, which were the movies that are trending right now. And then we finally got to our list. So I have my list. I got the photos of the movies that are part of the list. And then okay, so this is what I really didn't understand, but after a lot of research and after a lot of videos, I finally got the hang of it, and it just clicked. So this ng app, this is our application, which is called, oh wow, is this mine? Yeah, it is. For a second I thought I called it something else. Yeah, so it's ABET, and then we have the controller. My controller is genre controller. I wrote that specifically out. Now we're going to, this is just a little, the P is for paragraph, I believe, and that's just some text. So I put add to my list. Now I wanted to make the style border bottom. Okay, so now we do the ng repeat. So pretty much it's like kind of like a for loop in my, that's how the best way I understood it. So we have genre in genres, so it's going to display all of the genres, and then when you click it, so it selects the genres is sent into the function select genre. That's just some styling. And then we have the class menu item, and we're going to, like I said, I put the number and then I put a dash and then I put the name of the genre. So that's why it has genre.gid, which is the number, and then our dash and then genre.gname. So our button, this is for the plus, no, this is for my X, and when you click the button, it's going to do the remove genre function, and you're going to send in the genre ID that you're removing. And then this I class, this is for the little X icon that closes. So now we're going to do show new genre. So here, this button is for adding, and that's the FA plus square, that's the little add icon, and it's pretty much like if we're going to add a genre, this is where that comes in. Now, okay, so yeah, I had done a little bit of notes because I just had to keep going back and forth to see what I was doing. So now we're showing that if we're not adding a genre, and as well the selected genre is not undefined, now we're going to pretty much print the film in films, and we coordinate it because in films they have a property that's genre ID, and then genre has a property that's GID. So pretty much genre ID matches to the GID that's of selected genre, and then you show that selected genre is not equal to undefined. So then we go into here. I originally wasn't gonna do a button, but I just kind of stood out more, and I wanted the items that were genres to look different than the items that were movies. So I made the movies put into the button class. So if you actually click the film, you see how film gets passed into select film. What's going to happen is you're going to have the film movie film name. So in the button, and then this button I believe is the little X icon, and that will remove the film. So see the window close button. Okay, then this button is pretty much to add a new film if we want to. So you see show new film, and then we have the little plus icon. So I did come back to this because initially I was kind of confused when I was just going over the assignment so many times. I realized, like, okay, so this is for when you click the button that has the name of the movie, like how, for example, I had the hater under that showed up underneath horrors. So once I click this, it's going to present details, and that's pretty much what this is doing. I added it into the menu item class just because I was struggling to try to make my words come in white. That's the only reason it's in the menu item class. But yeah, and then so yeah, this shows when the selected film is not equal to undefined and you're not adding a film. So like I said, like when you just click the film details are going to show. So I have the selected film.movie.film name, and then I had selected film.director show up. And then this area is for adding film entry and details. So once again, I put it in the menu item class just because I could not get that text to turn white unless I did that, so that's why that's there. So it's going to be showing adding film. So first we're going to do the genre code. I'm going to say selected film.genre ID is what we're doing, and then we're adding in, and then film name, selected film.movie.film name, director, selected film.director, and cancel add film. If we're gonna click for canceling, and then if we're gonna actually add it, we're just saying okay, so we add the film. And then this last is just adding a genre. Yeah, so I have like the genre code and then the name. and then you do the same thing, and you want to cancel that entry, or you want to officially add that entry by pressing OK. So now we're gonna go to our JavaScript file. So this is what took me the longest to figure out and understand. So like I mentioned before, what really messed me up was not understanding how the HTTP request works and not properly binding the files, the Angular file to HTML, the web page, and all that. So we create our app and we're using Angular. So this is the app name, and then ng route. This is so important. So now we create our controller. So our controller, we refer to the genre controller file, and then our function, and then we have our scope and our HTTP. So first I wanted to do, I did the scope, I did next genre, I put 5 because we have 5 genres. Now we have the HTTP. This one is for our first get. The method is get. The URL is API/genre/get. Reminder of what I was saying before, how that route prefix had the API/genre. This goes back to that. So then function success, we have a response. The scope.genres is going to take in the response data that is being sent in, and then else is just pretty much the failure. So then we have this HTTP. This is the get, but get by ID. Like I mentioned before, the default right now is on category 2, so that's why comedy, the movies underneath comedy, are always going to show initially. Then we have, if it's success, the response data is going to be sent into selected genre, and then else of just failure. So our select genre, we have genre sent in. Adding genre is false. Selected film is undefined as of now, but selected genre is going to be the genre that gets passed into the function. And then here's our films. These films, like I mentioned before, all the ones from the previews. The genre ID I matched to the GID. So offering to the storm is an action, and so I have the genre ID as 1 for action, and then kissing booth is genre ID 5 for romance, and so forth. So those are all my films. I was very detailed. I did look into the directors. So now select film, the FL, you sent it in. Adding film right now is false, but selected film is the film that you just sent in, the FL. Show new film, adding film is true at this moment. Selected film is new object, and selected film.movie is also new object. So when we add the film, the selected genre GID is passed into the selected film.genre ID, because like I said, they match. So then you want to push into the genres the selected film. So if I'm adding a film and I have it from a certain genre, you gotta push it so it's part of that list of whatever genre it correlates to. Selected film is undefined at this moment. Adding film is false. Now we have cancel add film. Selected film is undefined. Adding film is false. Show new genre. Selected genre is undefined, but right now we're adding a genre, and that's true. So this add genre, we're finally getting the use of the post. So our next genre, we're gonna add one, and this is how, like, my thriller, I had added thriller in my example when I was showing the web page. It got sent to the GID of 6 because the first 5 were already taken. So now scope, the next genre goes into the GID. So that's how that is entered. And then we have our HTTP. So the method is post, and that's our post type of request. We have the URL, which is API/genre/adder update. This is also all shown in our, was it controller? And yeah, in our API. So then our data is the selected genre. So then after that, pretty much if it's success, you're gonna push the data response, and else is just failure. So we're canceling add genre, selected genre is undefined, adding genre is false, and then the last two are removing. So for removing the genre, you pass in the ID. We first show the variable index to delete, having it at -1. We're doing a for loop, and if the ID that gets passed in is equal to the GID, that is the index that's going to be deleted. And then if the index to delete is greater or equal to 0, then you do a splice. And then it's pretty much the same logic for the remove film, but this time we also have an if statement for if the selected film ID equals ID, then the selected film becomes undefined, essentially removing. So that is my assignment 4. Thank you for watching.